Hello friends, I'm Rosa, welcome. So I finally have the wrap up for July and August ready for you. So the thing is, I put these books ready on the floor because I always record sitting on the floor. And I did that like Thursday, 11 days back or 12 days back. I don't know when this video is going live. With the intent to record it on the Friday and thought, yes, I am on time. I mean, it's a 2-month wrap up, so you could technically I'm not really on time, but like for my plans, I was on time. Didn't have time Friday because I was gone for most of the day. And then I woke up Saturday and was sick. So they've just been waiting for me to kind of like get well enough to be able to sit here and talk, because I know this video is also going to take a little bit of time to record and everything because we're talking about 11 books. So I've just been waiting to feel well enough to actually do that. And today's the day. I might be coughing a little bit. I'll edit it out of the video. It's all good. But we're on the mend. I'm ready to sit here and nerd out and talk about books, and I hope you guys are ready to geek out with me. If you want to check out any of the books, I always link to all of them in the description box because I know that I'm not necessarily the best at summarizing books. It gets a little bit chaotic at times, and I know that. So you can always find them linked in the description box down below. I don't know what we're starting out with. Let's just start with this one. Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This is the sequel to Divine Rivals. It is a YA, what I would probably consider romantasy, as the romance plot in this is very like entwined with the main plot of the story. I don't think the main plot would work without the romance. So can't really fully tell you what Ruthless Vows is about. But Divine Rivals though, we follow our two lead people, Iris and Roman. They are working for a paper, or they're kind of like, they're not fully hired. How do you explain this? Because I don't know how the system works exactly. They're not fully hired. So they have to compete for a hired position at this paper. They're journalists, so they're competitors as well, rivals if you will. And they're always butting heads as well, but also strangely drawn to each other at the same time. And so when Roman wins, this is not a spoiler, it's in the synopsis, Iris decides to take off to report from, because there's a war going on between gods in the background, and she takes off to the war front to report everything that's going on there. And Roman decides to follow, and then, you know, everything happens from there. Roman said bye to his new position and followed Iris into the wild. So I didn't love Ruthless Vows as much as I loved Divine Rivals. I feel like it just, this like perfect YA book feeling that I get when I read perfect YA books, I don't really have it with this one. I had it when reading Divine Rivals, but it was just missing that little extra. This one. Still very lovely. I love Rebecca Ross's writing as well. It's very magical and comfortable and flowy and nice. It's just nice and comfortable, like, you know, nice and comfortable. Doesn't bother me in any way whatsoever. At no point am I like, okay, this is too many descriptions, I don't care anymore. No, I just fly through her writing. Like, it's not bad either. I just like it. It's so comfortable. I will say I missed certain parts. So difficult to talk about sequels as well. I missed certain parts that were pretty big parts of Divine Rivals that were kind of missing in this one, as for like the relationship. And that's all I can really say on that, to be honest. It was still good. A very, very good YA romantasy, if you will. I think I'm gonna start using that word to describe YA books as well, romantasy. So it's like, it's not fantasy romance, it's not fantasy with romance, but it's romance with fantasy in it. Yeah, and still a very good one like that. Also, this edition is from Owl Crate, by the way. It's cute. She's pretty. She's not retro, she's kind of like historical in a way. I don't know. Moving on. Let's talk about this one. I think this was a secondary pick for the book club a while back, and then I didn't finish it, and then I picked it up and finished it very, very quickly. Wild Love by Elsie Silver, which is an adult romance. someone's talking outside my window and I would love it if they would just like go away so I can feel like I'm alone in the world for a second. In this book we follow our lead girl whose name I believe is, yes, Rosie. I remembered it was close to my name, but I don't remember how close. Rosie. My brother actually calls me Rosie now and then. Anyway, we follow Rosie as she's coming back to Rose Hill after having been gone. She went to the city to live for a little while, worked at a business or a company, then got fired because some things happened. Totally unfair, by the way. I don't approve of her being fired at all whatsoever, but it's also a point throughout the story. So I don't want to say too much about why, but actually I might have to. There might have been a case of assault or close to assault, and she's like, nope, and then she got fired for speaking up for herself. And so she went back to Rose Hill, and that is where she comes from. And this guy that, she has a big brother who had or has a best friend who Rose was very taken with when she was younger. He has changed quite a lot over the years. He's become like the most eligible bachelor or something. Billionaire, what is the hottest billionaire? I can't remember exactly, but it's something. They kind of joke about it throughout the entire book. I think it's the hottest billionaire. World's hottest billionaire. His name is Ford. Yep. Anyway, he wants to open a recording studio in Rose Hill. He's from there as well, just want to say. He's been there his like entire life basically, and is working towards opening this music studio. So he ends up hiring Rosie to help with the studio once she gets there. And the two of them are kind of like walking up and down each other like all the time, like they're, you know, because he kind of liked her back in the day as well, just like she liked him, but couldn't really do anything about it because it's his best friend's little sister. It's kind of weird. Also, she was a little bit younger, a little bit like 3 years younger. There's a bit of an age gap as teenagers that doesn't really mean that much when you're adults anymore. And so a lot of like flashbacks to when they were younger, a lot of talk about different situations when they were younger, a lot of like trying to sort out these little fights and stuff they've been throughout their childhood / teen years, and they're cute. They're cute. I will say he also, his biological daughter shows up one day. She doesn't, or he hasn't known that she existed, just want to say. Important thing to add, like he does not know. He might have donated some of his juices. I don't know how much I can say on YouTube. It's fine. So that's how she exists. And she shows up and I'm like, that's super unrealistic, but I'm gonna choose to ignore that that's super unrealistic because he has been anonymous essentially, so like you wouldn't be able to just. Also kind of messed up just showing up like, hey, I'm your daughter, by the way, but like he was just donating, not with the intent to become a parent, but just with the intent for him honestly to earn some money, but also to help other people, you know. So it's kind of like, why? I feel like it doesn't really fully make sense to me. That was a big part of this where I was like, that's very, it feels very unrealistic. Like, feels very unrealistic, especially because she stays there and like instantly just assumes that he's gonna take care of her, but like you're not, technically not his daughter. Technically you are, but technically you're also not. It's difficult. I don't know, it's difficult. I have no clue what I would do if I was in his situation. So, you know. But other than that, it was just a very like vibey story. A lot of working towards having this business up and running. A lot of like little, with them like headbutting a lot, to be honest. So if you like banter, if you like teasy banter, there's a lot of that in this one. Not so much cowboy vibes, but definitely small town vibes. And a lot of hesitation because apparently little sisters are off limits. I'm like, I don't know, she's an adult, who cares? Anyway, so Wild Love by Elsie Silver. It was a cute romance though. Not the best I've read, but still cute. I feel like we should get the 2 Kindle books out of the way before I continue because I might forget them otherwise. And that is Glow of the Everflame and Heat of the Everflame by Penn Cole. So it's book 2 and 3 of the Everflame. That's not what it's called. I can't remember what the series is called, but it's these 2. Yep. So With them being sequels, I can't really fully tell you what they are about, but in the first one we follow our lead girl, the romantasy by the way. We follow our lead girl who, she lives in this world, she lives in the city in this world that is split up into different realms, and also it's run by these people that are called descendants that have powers. She's a human, so she's living with humans that are basically seen as lesser. They don't have powers. But the descendants, she's a healer. And her mother, by the way, also a healer, but before the book starts, has gone missing. Where is she? She's kind of presumed dead. We don't know where she is. Nobody's seen her body, so like, is she dead? We don't know, but she's kind of gone. And so her mother used to work at the palace where some of the descendants live. Sometimes they do need access to a healer, and so she decides to take her mother's job now that her mother has disappeared. And so she ends up working at the descendants' palace. And while she's there, she bumps into the princess, who is nice and cute and kind of also has a thing for our lead girl's brother, little brother. She also bumps into the, would you call him a crown prince? I suppose you could call him a crown prince. I'm gonna call him a crown prince. His name is Luther, and the two of them, there's something there. Like, there's a vibe, there's a connection that neither of them can really explain. There's also a lot of animosity. They're not super friendly with each other, but there's a little bit of like a, there's like a little, a thing, a vibe, a thing, you know what I mean. And also, I should probably explain to you what the Everflame is. The Everflame is, it's something else that I can't explain to you. But they're also a group of rebels. And these rebels one day pull our lead girl to the side and it's like, you have access to the palace. You can get us information, because they want to fight back. They want to fight the descendants and get power back for the humans, and so she decides to help them. And it gets all messy, and 2 and 3, I read them so close to each other that I can't really differentiate between the two in my head. I will say 3 got way too long for me personally. Like, I kind of stopped reading halfway through it. It's 1,000 pages on KU, something like that. It got a little bit much, like a little bit. I think 2 was somewhere between 600 and 700 pages, which is also a lot, but it was fine. And then the added couple of hundreds got a little bit too much, so I had to take a break during 3. I like what's going on. I like the story. It got a little bit repetitive at times because there's a lot of traveling and a lot of incidents while traveling, and it just kind of got a little bit like, oh, okay, again. Surprise, you know that sort of thing. I don't love travel books. I think quite often they don't necessarily fully work, or maybe I just haven't come across the right travel book for me. I don't really know. It sounds like I'm like talking about travel books, like I have a book on Korea and Japan. Like, that's what I mean, like books where they travel. So I will say that, but other than that, I do enjoy the series quite a lot. The 4th one should be coming out at some point. So I think the author said that she's finishing up everything. It was first listed to be released on the 1st of July, I think, or the 31st of July, something like that. However, that was like a temporary date, because she had to add one when she put it up on KU, as like announced the 4th book in the series. So I don't actually know when it's going to be released. But I'm looking forward to finishing up that series when it is released at some point. Feels like good romantasy. It does. Just a little bit long drawn in the 3rd one, but it feels like a little bit of a standout romantasy among a lot of other romantasy that you can find on KU. So there's a couple of standouts. Actually, the next book that I want to talk about as well is a bit of a standout, but it's also been traditionally published. I will, however, if you have KU and you're looking for good romantasy suggestions or recommendations, I would look into whatever's called Of the Everflame. I forgot what the first one is called. Pencoal, look up Pencoal. Glow? No, is that the sequel? Spark. Spark of the Everflame. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This was a primary pick for the book club. By the way, if you want to check out the book club, there's always a link to it in the description box as well as in the pinned comment. This month we are reading The Reappearance of Rachel Price. But some month, I think July, we read When the Moon Hatched. I have tapped this a lot. A lot happens in this story. So essentially we follow our lead girl who, she works for this organization to hunt down, she's basically, in short, I would call a bounty hunter of some sort. Okay, I think that's how I want to describe it, but it doesn't really take up a whole lot of space in the story itself because she has to go on the run. All of a sudden she has to go on the run. She's captured by this group of people that are powerful fae, and she has to go on the run. So she gets help from this guy who's like mysteriously been around sometimes. His name is Khan. It's Raven Khan. Yes, Khan. And he's a dragon rider, which is like highly esteemed. It's special to be a dragon rider. You need to have a special bond with a dragon to be able to ride it, and it's a whole thing. Dragons are very important in this world. It's actually very interesting. So when dragons die, they fly up into the sky and calcify, and that's why they're considered moons. So this is called when the moon hatched because it starts after one of the moons fell from the sky. It's a thing. I love that concept though. I do. I love how the relationship between rider and dragon is described in this. I want to see more dragons in fantasy books. I know it's a whole lot to take on. It's a lot to like incorporate in the story as well, but I like when dragons have like a meaningful place in the stories, just like in Priory. Like that vibe or that connection relationship between a rider and a dragon, I just love it. One of the reasons I love House of the Dragon as well. Anyway, but yeah, she gets help from Khan. A whole lot of stuff happens. Rave might feel a little bit awkward because Khan is like, I know you already. And Rave is like, I don't know who you are. Never seen you in my life. Anyway, leave me alone. There's definitely something going on there. And that something might be a secret that it takes up a lot of space in the book, but there might be something to it. Might be some secret that they have to unravel and confront together and stuff. I'm looking forward to the sequel to this so much. I loved this from start to finish. I love it so much. It took me a while to finish it, but that's because I was on vacation. Once I was reading, I was like, I don't want to stop reading. I just want to continue. When I've tapped a book this much, it means that I loved it a lot. Also, there was a lot of world building in this. I like the writing as well. I've seen some people not loving the writing. I think one thing that could definitely cause some annoyance to some people is that the start of it turns out, or is written in a different way. It's very poetic, it's very lyrical, because she's explaining the creation of these, the world, I think it is. It's like 5 deities. She's explaining what they do and their relationship with each other and, you know, something like that. And then it changes language to something that's a little bit more contemporary. Was a bit of a surprise to me as well, but reading a lot of romantasy, I'm kind of used to that. And I will say it is better writing than a lot of other romantasy that I've read on KU. I really like this. Also, romantasy with spice, not spicy romantasy. Romantasy with spice. The same counts for Spark of the Everflame. It's romantasy with spice. A very long slow burn in that one as well. You've been warned. A very long slow burn in that one. Very long. This less so, but it's impactful when you get to, you know, it's impactful. Yes. And I want to know more about the dragons. And I want to know more about the bomb that was completely dropped at the end of the book that for some reason I had not thought of at all. Like, not even a little bit. Until suddenly something was mentioned, there was a little hint, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, no. Anyway, it was good. It was beautiful. I gave this 5 stars because I loved it a whole lot. I would read it again tomorrow. If I wasn't already reading like 8 different books, I definitely would read this again tomorrow. I will read it again before the sequel comes out, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I loved it. Dragons, we love dragons. We love Sarah A. Parker. Okay, moving on. Otherwise, I'll be stuck on this book for a long time. I'm taking way too long to go through these books. I have so many books left. The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. This is a YA, again, what I would call a romantasy, although that word did not exist when this book came out. It is perfect example of YA romantasy. This was really beautiful. It's like it's a retelling of 1001 Nights. Is that what it was called? I feel like 1001? Yeah, 1001 Nights. Yes. I just had to make sure. I started second guessing myself a lot. Anyway, so you follow a girl who goes off to marry the, is he the king? It's not a king, but I don't know, Caliph. I'm sorry, it's confusing because his name is Khalid. He's the Caliph. Why do they have to be so similar? I remember thinking that as well when I was reading the book. Like, why do they have to be so similar? She goes off to marry the Caliph because her best friend fell victim to the Caliph. The Caliph marries a new young girl every day and then ends up killing them before the morning. And more or less every day, I think. And so she goes off to get revenge for her best friend. But when she gets there, things are kind of weird. And she's telling stories to the Caliph. So the Caliph, his name is Khalid. Khalid ends up not killing her and stuff. But she's constantly threatened by that whole killing thing. And she constantly comes up with new stories. Or like, it's not a new story, it's a continuation. She's basically trying to like slowly charm her way into his graces so that she can do the deed and end his life. Things are odd at the palace, or whatever this place is called. Whatever the correct word for it is. Things are odd. And also the Caliph might not seem as bad as she has been told throughout her entire life. So this was just beautiful, actually. I really, really enjoyed the way that this was written. A bit different, I feel. Like, it felt very mature in the writings in some way. I can't really put my finger on exactly why, but it felt very mature and just very beautiful, and I am intrigued and enchanted a little bit as well. I'm very much looking forward to going into the sequel to this. It has like an undertone of mystery as well, because you don't really know what's going on. You just know something is going on, and you're constantly fed little pieces of information, little hints and stuff, but you don't really know. You just know something is going on. So, a bit of a mystery, but mystery undertones to it as well, which I really enjoyed. I feel like, if I remember correctly, it took a little bit to pick up, or maybe I just had to get used to the writing. I can't fully remember what it was, but it took me a little bit to get into it. Once I was into it, I was so into it though. So yeah, beautiful. Looking forward to the sequel. I have it. I haven't read it yet. It's a lot of books I'm looking forward to, okay? We have another sequel, King of Pride by Ana Huang. This is the second book in the Kings of Sin series. Isn't it the second book? Yes, it is. And in this one we follow Kai and Isabella. Yeah. Kai is in the running to become a CEO for this company that his mother owns, and Isabella is he's working at this bar, or he doesn't work at the bar. He's one of the prime members of this bar called Valhalla, which is an important part of Ana Huang's whole universe. Isabella works as a bartender at Valhalla, and the two of them kind of have, there's a vibe. You know, when there's just, it's the best way I can describe some situations. There's a vibe. Like, there's been eye contact, a connection, and now they don't know what to do. And also, she works at the bar. She's not supposed, or the club actually, it's a club, it's not a bar. They're not supposed to do anything because he is a member and she's a bartender. Fraternizing is, I was about to say illegal, but that's taken a little bit too far. It's not permitted. So they kind of have to be a little bit sneaky about it. You know. Yeah, they have to be a little bit sneaky about it. Bonus info, Kai is in the running to become the CEO, like mentioned, but also Isabella is writing a book and is into dinosaur erotica, whatever that is. Then again, like, I haven't read the books myself, but like, apparently there's door erotica and fork erotica, so I'm not gonna question it. Dinosaur erotica sounds actually a little bit more normal than those two examples. I don't know what's happening with literature, but it's interesting. Kai is not my favorite out of Ana Huang's men. In fact, I feel like so far it's Dante, Kai, and I've also read King of Greed, which we'll talk about next month. But I feel like none of them can really compete with, well, maybe Christian Harper. Maybe they can compete with Christian. I'm still, like, I'm waiting for that Reese, you know? I'm waiting for the Reese. He hasn't really showed up yet in one of the Kings of Sin books. But I did enjoy this. I think, did I enjoy it as much as King of Wrath? Maybe not. Like, a little bit less, but still very much enjoyed it. So we got some, like, forbidden romance, kind of, but also dating in secret. Another billionaire You know how it is with Anohangs. It's funny because like these men would not even, like, I would not be interested at all in real life, but I do like to read about them. So yeah, I'm excited to see where King of Sloth goes. I'm hoping King of Sloth will kind of like hit a little bit better than King of Greed did at least. At least hit as good as this did, because I just needed to pick up again. We'll talk about King of Greed though next month. If that's weird, it's just because I want to make sure that I have like, I split the months. Okay, I split up the months, so that's just how it works. The books that I read here in September will be talked about in October. We got 4 more to talk about. Let's talk about I Kissed Shara Wheeler. This is a YA contemporary romance. Also kind of a mystery. This was so much fun. It's about our lead girl and 2 guys and Shara. Shara has gone missing after she's kissed all these 3 people. So our lead girl and the 2 guys. One of them is her boyfriend. One of them is the boyfriend's neighbor, and then there's our lead girl, whose name I've forgotten completely, which is awkward. Chloe. Her name's Chloe. Okay. Chloe is, and has been, taken with Shara. Shara takes up a lot of space. You know, she's one of those people when she enters a room, she just kind of like takes up a lot of space. Not physically, just kind of like she owns the room. She brightens up the room, but she's also a little bit of a bitch. You know, she's the popular girl who's perfect. And then she goes missing. And not in like a crime kind of way, just like purposely she goes missing. She's leaving letters and hints to these 3 people to let them know, at least like lead them in the right direction, to let like, so they can figure out where she is, because she wants them to find her. And in the process as well, kind of figure out some things about her that she's not necessarily finding it easy to say. So yeah, a lot of LGBT talk in this. It's very much, it takes place in a very, in a very religious setting that is not very pro-LGBT. I think there was a note about it at the start. Okay, hold on. Dear reader, if you come to this story from the South or from a Southern Baptist or evangelical Christian background, you may recognize some of the culture it describes. Much of it is approached with humor because sometimes you really do have to laugh. And though Chloe Green doesn't believe, her point of view isn't the only one you'll encounter in this book. There's room for the good parts and the bad, the funny and painful, and everything in between, because that's what life as a teenager is, especially in Chloe's pocket of the world. To explore all of this, I Kissed Shara Wheeler includes elements of religious trauma and homophobia. So a lot of that kind of talk. I thought it was very humorous, and I really enjoyed the like, I think I found like a thing, because it's the same with Divine Rivals. It's the same with the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series as well. I like reading text between people. I like reading letters in books. I like reading little notes. I like reading emails. Stuff like that, like journal entries. I just like reading all that stuff. So when you get like a long letter like this, I'm like, yeah, this is perfect. This is what I want. Or stuff like this, like little notes back and forth. I think these are texts. There's a little note here as well. I love stuff like that. I want more stuff like that. So I was really enjoying this. It's kind of, I think it's nice to just break up the text a little bit now and then. Maybe that's what it is. I don't really know. Or it's like a different insight into the story without it being told to you. So you kind of like have a different insight into it. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. My book has gotten a little bit dirty because I brought it with me when I had to go to a festival, and I didn't bring it with me to the festival itself. But it was in my baggage, and she's gotten a little bit dirty, and I kind of like, it bothers me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. But it was cute. I really enjoyed this one. It was nice, light. Well, not light all the time. Some of it was light. Some important talks in there though as well. And I really liked the mystery parts of it too. I thought, that's probably what I mean with light. The mystery part was not like, you know, like crime novel mystery where someone's gotten murdered and you have to figure out who the perpetrator is. It was more like, where am I? I'm hiding. Like, I love that. It was a little bit lighter. But yeah, Case Me Quiz Done is awesome. We love it. Great book. Awesome. Gotta hydrate a little bit. We still have 3 more books to go. Oh, speaking of mysteries, Finlay Donovan, Knocks 'Em Dead by El Cosimano, which is an adult mystery contemporary. There's a little bit of romance in there as well, but it's not like a big part of the plot. What can I say? This is a sequel to Finlay Donovan is killing it, in which we follow Finlay Donovan, who is a writer. She is a divorced mom as well, and she's just super busy. Kind of struggling a little bit to make ends meet as well. So she's desperate to write her story. One day she meets up with her agent at this cafe and she is talking about the plot of her newest novel. She writes crime novels, mystery novels. Someone's gotten murdered in the story. So she's sitting there talking about like, this person got murdered and all this like backstory to it and you know, like what is she gonna do about this murder and stuff. Like she's talking about like, what am I gonna do about this murder? And so someone's sitting next to her and she overhears the talk and she instantly jumps to the conclusion that, well, this is a murder for hire. I should hire them to kill my husband. Perfect plan. So that's what she tries to do. The stranger sitting next to her at the cafe, she tries to hire Finlay Donovan to kill her husband. And Finlay has a hard time saying no because money. And so it gets a little bit messy. It's very chaotic. This I didn't enjoy as much as Finlay Donovan is killing it. I think the mystery at times got a little bit like back and forth, a little bit too back and forth. It threw me for a loop a couple of times, and I think something came out of Left Wing complete. Like it came out of the blue. I preferred when you get like little leads and little hints and stuff, so you feel like you're on the right track. I don't like when something suddenly like comes out of the blue and it's like, hey, by the way, it's me. Like, who are you? I have never heard of you before. I'm not saying that happened in this one because I can't fully remember, but I feel like it came out of the blue a little bit. Oh, the mystery in this one is a little bit more aimed at her ex-husband. A lot of family drama they're going through as divorced parents, and also her trying to date. There's two guys as well. Just want to say it's not like a love triangle either, because the two guys don't actually really know each other, and I feel like there has to be a connection between them for it to be a proper love triangle. It's just like two possible love interests. So she's a little bit torn there as well. But yeah, I didn't love it as much as Finlay Donovan is killing it. Still has the humor though, still chaotic AF. There's a lot going on at all times, like a lot. A whole lot. Finlay Donovan just loves to get, you know, in the middle of everything all the time. So, but anyway, yeah, didn't enjoy it as much, but I'm still looking forward to continuing this series. I think I have book 3 as well. I can't remember what it's called though, but I think I have it. And now, second to last book, we have Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, which is the sequel to Red Rising. This is adult sci-fi. And yes, I will continue to say adult because I do read a lot of YA as well, so I feel like sometimes it's just easier to add an extra word so, you know, nobody gets confused or misunderstands me or anything. This was also chaotic. A lot going on in these books. Like, it's non-stop. Trust nobody. Anyway, I can't tell you what this book is about, but Red Rising though, we follow Darrow, who is born on Mars. He's one of the Rets. So he's basically born into slavery. I'm gonna tell it straight. He's born into slavery. He doesn't see it that way though. But to us, we know better. He's born into slavery. He's working his days away in the mines. People don't get old enough, People don't get old as Reds because they work themselves to death. And life is tough. They never have enough food. They never have enough good food. They don't sleep enough. They work too much, etc., etc. But Darrow is like, this is his lot. Like, this is just how his life is. He's got his wife. He's happy with her. They're doing great. His wife, though, is a bit of a... She's brave. Let's put it like this. She's brave. Whereas Darrow is just content. Like, he's like, yeah, this is fine. His wife is like, no, it's not. So something happens at some point. Consequences occur, or consequences are carried out because of this thing that happens. Darrow is included, or how am I gonna put this? There are certain things that are left out of the synopsis, and it's kind of hard to summarize the book without including those things because they happen in between 2 points of the story. To get from point A to B, something happens. This thing in the middle that I can't tell you. I won't tell you. I've probably said it before on the channel, but I won't tell you again. Anyway, he gets to point B, which is basically this group of people turn him into a gold. So the gold are the ones that are controlling the universe. Let's just call it the universe. If the reds are slaves, they are slaves to the golds. And so this group basically turns Darrow into a gold so that he can work for them, and also to liberate all these people. Not just reds, but like he has to infiltrate the golds to bring down the government and free all the slaves they have. And it gets very chaotic. Red Rising itself is also, it's like there's a game happening, a tournament sort of. I don't know what else to call it though. Happening throughout the book. And it's bloody, it's brutal, it's eye-opening. Like, don't trust anybody. Never trust a single soul in this world. I love this book. I loved it a lot. I can't remember if I loved it a little bit less or a little bit more than Red Rising. I think a little bit less. I gave it 4.5 though. I think it was a little bit less than Red Rising, but like 4.5, still really good, you know? Still really, really good. And I'm so nervous to read Morningstar. I'm so nervous because I feel like nobody's safe. Nobody's trustworthy. What are you gonna do? Can I check up on the second trilogy and see who's still alive so that... Is that spoiling myself? I feel like that's spoiling... Or is it just reassuring myself? A different way to look at it. I don't know. Spoiling or reassurance? Anyway, I don't read a lot of sci-fi, but apparently I love these kind of books where people just die left and right. Just like Hunger Games. Except I don't want it to happen in fantasy. I just want it to happen in sci-fi. I'm not saying that people die left and right. Actually, a lot of people die. She says laughing. That's disturbing. Anyway, they're fictional characters. It's just drama. It's entertaining drama. Trust nobody. I love this so much. I love it a lot. I'm just nervous to get into Morningstar because how are we gonna get there, you know? Like how is it gonna happen? Like how? Someone's gonna get hurt. You know, someone's gonna get hurt. Anyway, yes. Lastly, we have the stunning, the beautiful, the entertaining, the amazing Lore Olympus. This is volume 2 or 3. Volume 3. I love this graphic novel series so much. It is my joy. I am smiling through the entire thing when I'm reading it. And I've said this before, but it's not all good though. Oh, look how cute this is. Like, look at that. It's not all good and happy days. Did I just ruin my book? I hope not. No, I don't think so. Got nervous for a second there. I love the style. I love the style. I love the characters. I love the drama. I love that it's light but also serious. I just adore Persephone/Core so much. I want to know what happens, but at the same time I'm scared because nobody better hurt Persephone. Like, leave her alone. I feel so protective of this fictional character. It's no joke. This one got a little bit confusing at times because there's a lot of like back and forth in the timeline, so you really have to make sure that you got your timeline right before you go into this one so that you know exactly where this flashback takes place, because that confused me a little bit at times. Oh, I love them. They're so cute. Anyway, I still need volume 5, so I have volume 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, and I don't have 5, and it's so dumb. Why did I get 6 without 5? I pre-ordered 6, I think, without... I forgot to buy 5 in the meantime. I was supposed to have bought 5, but I didn't. I'll figure it out. Okay, I'll figure it out. But I love it. Hades and Persephone retelling as well. Graphic novel format, and just a very unique art style too, very vibrant. Every god in this kind of has like a bit modern too, a bit contemporary, modernized. Like they live in like an urban world kind of, so don't think Olympus has been modernized, if you will. Anyway, also nice to get a little bit more insight into Persephone before she showed up in Olympus. Yes, I loved it. So I love it so much. It's like one of those things I can't really like fully put into words exactly why. It's a feeling I have when I read it, you know? It's just a feeling I have when I read it. I love it. When my whole body feels happy, even if it's not happy what's going on in the pages. I still am happy because I'm reading it. Yes. I love books in general. Anyway, I hope that was it. As in, like, I hope I didn't miss anything. but that should be 11 total. This video is probably very, very long. I apologize, but also I talk a lot, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this wrap up. Again, if you want to check out any of the books, read their descriptions and summaries in a little bit less chaotic way, they are linked to in the description box down below. You can find links to both Waterstones and US Amazon there, so feel free to go check them out if you feel like it, if you want to. But that is all I got for you guys today. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to hit the thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this from me, but also all the other booktube stuff, we got some unboxings coming up, a bookshelf tour soon, and some vlogs as well. So if that's of any interest, definitely consider sticking around by clicking on the subscribe button. However, I'm gonna leave you to it now. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.